This particular story is one that I wasn't present for, but definitely influenced what I did with my weekend, basically. So like, how can I express exactly what happened here? So because I was an NPC for the last like season, there were still a couple of like NPC roles that I had to hold over, just like play quickly and then come back, you know? I only had to do it once this game because it was like a character that was consistently like part of somebody's pathway narrative for like their power ascension, you know? And I was playing an important NPC for it. So the plot team came and asked me if I could play that character for, 15 minutes, basically. And that's it. Just 15 minutes and then come back. So I said to my people, I was like, well, I'm going to go and commune for a few minutes, and I'll return shortly. And I left and went to go and do this NPC thing. But that's not the important thing that happened. As soon as I left, the other 5 fucking bloodthirsty dorks. This was on Saturday morning, by the way. The other 5 went heard a rumor that there's some humans up by our old campsite. We should go and deal with those people living in our territory, and everybody was like, yeah, of course. And they went up the path. They went up the path, and Aeryn, our friend right here, this is Sadler, Aeryn, was like, when the shaman's away, the Vespid will play, apparently was what he said. Yeah, the Sorb shall play. So they're walking up the path towards our old campsite, and they see something. Like, they hear something moving, and they look over, and this other player, this Einhar, they're like sort of Viking people with like a spear, pokes her head out from like her little hiding spot near the edge of the road. Like, pokes her head out, looks, and Ray goes, hello, what are you doing here? And instead of starting a conversation, this Einhar looks like a deer in the headlights and bolts. She runs. And of course, as soon as you run, you look guilty of something. So the rest of them catapult off chasing her. And they kill her. Like, instead of like, here, have this one item tribute for me being, where I'm not supposed to be, and maybe we can smooth things over, she was like, run, and then chase, dead. And this is another player. This isn't an NPC. This is another player. We found out later that she was in the woods worshiping her goddess Sybil, who is the goddess of the hunt, the same goddess that like one of our paladins follows. And it's very ironic to me that somebody who is like a follower of the goddess of the hunt would run away like prey. And it narratively, it's very interesting. Sadler typing in chat there, who was actually there and made the killing blow. Sadler was the one who made the killing blow. She made it 5 feet, and her last words were, no, please. Yeah. So she's dead. So she was dead, and I came back into game, and I was looking for them because I didn't know where they'd gone. Obviously, I did my stuff and then left, And I came back into game as Aeryn, and I was looking around, and I heard, I saw across the field Alvar and Chitin, and they're coming towards me, and they're like, Shaman, we need to talk to you. We need to talk to you about something that just happened. And I'm going, like, out of character in my brain, I'm going, oh, fuck? Like, what the fuck happened in the 10 minutes I was gone? I go, I'm not even kidding. It was like 10 minutes. And so they come over and they're like, we killed someone in the woods, trespassing. They ran. We pursued, and they're dead. Croxus, Ray, and Calrin are gathering their stuff and making sure to hide the things that are valuable, and we'll come back for them. You know, all that kind of stuff. And it was like a bunch of people came looking at the scream that she made, but I don't think anyone saw us, you know, and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll wait for them to come back down, and then we'll see what our options are. You know, we'll wait for them to come back down, and then we'll see what our options are. And so we waited, and eventually everybody filtered back in, and like with pockets full of loot from her, basically, you know, like trinkets and gold and all kinds of shit, like loads of things. And Croxus is like, we hit her spear up in the woods. It's a magic spear, so we want it, obviously, but we hit her spear up in the woods. Hopefully they don't find it. And if they do find it, well, it might have just fallen there. So nobody found her body quick enough, so she went to the resurrection circle. Well, she died. Like, she actually died. She didn't get lifed or healed or anything. Like, stabbed her, and she died. And she never came back. She never came back. Because that character ran away from the Gen Vested Swarm, they finaled. Like, final death. Like, the character is gone. They're not coming back. They're gone forever. She died outside of combat. She ran and screamed and said, no, please, and got stabbed. So she, as an Einhar, she had to take 2 deaths. Yeah, she's dead. She's gone. It's the first time I've even been, like, marginally involved in the final death of a character. And I felt a little bad about it, but also, like, I wasn't even there. I personally wasn't even there. There wasn't anything that I could have done. You know? And character-wise, everything that happened made sense. The way that everybody played it out was really solid, really good. And we got accused of her murder later on. I have no idea how anybody found out that it was us, because, like, literally nobody saw us. It was impossible. They came looking for the scream. But, you know, they knew. They knew somehow. And once something is in-game, whether or not it's in-game legitimately, you have to just roll with it and hope that, like, you can sort it out. So this character was married. And I ended up in a conversation with her husband afterward, another player. And I say married, like married in-game. And I ended up in a conversation with her husband, where we're sitting at a table in the tavern. I have all the Vespin around. They're sitting there and talking to me. And I'm basically saying, like, nothing we did was against our law. She was in our woods. She ran. Looked guilty. She died. That's the way it goes. You know? Maybe when you run into us there, you might think a little more reasonably. Offer something of value. Something that might get you passage. I'm not going to stop my people from doing what it is that they do. And he's sitting there across the table from me, looking me in the eyes like I could tell he was thinking, like, what do I do? You know? He was thinking, I can't right now say anything that will, like, be inflammatory because there's all these wild elves around, and if I'm like, I'm going to kill you, one of them is just going to kill me, you know? Like, I think that was sort of the thought process, though he seemed very reasonable and receptive to my diplomacy. And I basically said, we gave the spear back If she comes back, she can have her spear back. We gave the spear back to Crowley, your leader. And yeah, we'd like spoken to Crowley earlier and like led him up the hill to give him the spear and the armor from Ava. We kept everything else. But we gave them the spear and the armor so that if she came back, she would have her gear, at least. Everything else is tribute. It's ours. We hunted her. Ripperino, you know? And I was saying to him, we gave back the spear. Crowley has it. You can get it back at any time. Her armor is also there. We aren't heartless. I say in the most heartless way, like, possible. But yeah, I basically had a conversation where I was frank and honest about the murder of someone's wife directly to their face. Because in-game, the information had leaked, so there was no way that I was gonna, like, avoid accusations. So it was best to just hit it head on. And I sat there and I talked with the husband of somebody that my tribe killed. Just vigorously about her murder. Them.
Tribute for you, shaman.
$20 for my Uniswats. Hearts. Thank you. I want to reiterate that I was not involved in this killing in any way. I was an NPC while this was going on. This just happened. Like, and it influenced a lot of my game after, because as the person who does a lot of the talking for the group, I had to do, like, the negotiation, you know, the speaking, because if I left it to, you know, Colrin, or I left it to Ray or Croxus, like, their response is, like, a little bit more direct and possibly violent than mine. My response is, like, here is how it is, you know? Chat saying I sound a little bit guilty. Yeah, I mean, I am. I am a little bit guilty. I mean, like, it's somebody's character. And we talked to her after out of game, and this is, like, the very important part about this, right? Like, we killed her character. We talked to her out of game, made sure there was, like, no out of game hard feelings, you know, and that, like, nothing was wrong, you know, and that, like, it wasn't a personal attack against her out of game or any of that stuff. Like, we made sure that was the thing, because while we play heartless bastards, we are not out of game heartless bastards. None of us, you know? We're all very, like, conscientious LARPers, you know? Like, we all care very much about people's enjoyment of the game, and, like, my entire goal is to provide menace, you know? Like, I want to provide menace without necessarily providing violence. But yeah, we talked to her out of game. She was cool with it. She was fine with it. And like knew that it happened, and like wasn't sore about it. So that was good. And she joined the NPC team for the rest of the game and was NPCing. It seemed like she was having an alright time. So, you know. It's good. It was good. It was good. It was a good experience. Hell yeah, Sadler. And like always, you know, that offer is open to anybody. Like the idea that like, well, if we, you know, if you want to join us, you totally can. Like, we have no problem with that. But yeah, she's gonna be NPCing, I think, for the season. So that's cool. Yeah, this snowfall was during game. The grass was green when we started, by the way. This is a picture at the end of game. The grass was fucking green when we started. Yeah. All right. So that'll be that story, I think. Yeah, so we killed Ava, the Einhar, and she finaled. She died forever. Cool. Back